Let's cover some additional tips for lesson number 2. The one thing that you want not to do is to not pay attention to how big your arcs are. You'll be in big trouble. And we found out that there really are quilting police. And here they come. Pay attention to those arcs if you want your piece to look nice. All kidding aside, let's try that again. Some of you have expressed the concern that you don't know how deep to make the arcs when you're stitching them. I use my foot as my guide and never go any deeper than my foot is. But if you can't judge by that, you might try, just for maybe the first couple rows, marking dots about 1/4 of an inch away from the squares. That'll give you something to eyeball and to guide yourself towards as you're stitching. So watch as I'm stitching this. I'm going to start in the corner as usual. And as I'm stitching, I'm not watching my needle. I'm looking at that dot. By marking this gets your eye used to looking where you're going instead of where you are. That's probably one of the most important things that you'll learn in free motion quilting. Keep your eye on where you want to go next. That's what this dot is allowing you to do. And it's also allowing you to judge about how deep you should be making the scallops. Once you do this for a couple of rows, I think the muscle memory will kick in and you'll be all set to go to do the remaining rows without marking them. If it's still not working for you, go ahead and mark them again, because since you're really trying, the quilt police won't come this time. After I'm done with this stitch out, I'm going to show you another way that you can do this. But I want you to watch as I'm stitching this, and this is why I prefer to teach this method instead of another method that a lot of people use. If you notice, each time I go into a corner of the square, I can stop and take a breath and relax and figure out what I'm going to do next. That's the relaxing thing about this method of doing this particular stitch. Each corner. So in other words, when I'm doing each square, I have 4 opportunities to stop, take a breath. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and when we come back, that'll be our 4th one. But it's a much more relaxing method for me, and it's easier for me personally to keep my stitching equidistance away from the lines. But I will show you the other method so that you can see another way of doing it. I refer to this method as a serpentine. If you follow the black lines, that's all done in one stitching. You just keep wiggling in and out like a snake and meeting at each intersection. Let me show you what I mean. Let's pull up the thread. And this time I'm not going to start on the edge, I'm going to start in the next block over. And I'm going to stitch down, do the arc, come in at the corner, but then I'm going to go to the other side of the block and I'm just going to keep swinging back and forth like a snake. Now to go back up the other side, I'm going to do the opposite end and just wiggle my way back up until I get to the top again. can see you don't have as many places to stop and rest, but a lot of people do prefer this method. So the choice is yours, whatever method it takes to get you the results that you want. So I'll continue on with this so you can watch how I'm doing it. I will tell you right here I'm making a mistake. I should have been making an arc there instead of stitching straight, but we'll keep on going. Now, when we go across, we're going to serpentine again. Our goal is to always meet up at the corners of the blocks. To get to the next, we do an arc down, and then we start our serpentine again. Down to the corner, back up to the corner, down to the corner, and repeat backwards. There's not as much stopping and starting, so this may help you get your stitches adjusted more evenly if that's a problem that you're having. Again, this is totally up to you. If this works better for you, that's fine. Once you get to the bottom, we'll go ahead and finish up with our hop, hop, hop like we did before. And we'll go up the sides just like we did before to finish this up. And just like that, you have the serpentine method of doing this block.